Let me tell you something most men completely misunderstand about attraction. They think passion starts with the body. They think chemistry begins with touch. But every mature woman wants something touched first, and it's not what most men assume. She wants her mind touched. She wants her emotions understood. She wants her dignity respected. A mature woman isn't impressed by urgency. She's moved by intention. When you listen to her, truly listen, you are touching the deepest part of her. When you notice the small details she didn't repeat twice, you are reaching her before your hands ever could. When you speak to her with calm confidence instead of pressure, you create space where desire grows naturally. A mature woman has lived. She has experienced charm without substance. She has seen attraction without depth. What separates you isn't how fast you escalate, it's how deeply you connect. Touch her pride by acknowledging her strength. Touch her intelligence by engaging her thoughts. Touch her emotional world by making her feel safe expressing it. When she feels emotionally secure, her guard lowers. When she feels respected, she leans closer. When she feels understood, attraction multiplies without force. Men often rush the moment because they fear losing it. But maturity in a woman responds to patience. She doesn't want to be chased recklessly, she wants to be chosen deliberately. If you learn to touch her mind first, her heart second, and only then her body, you'll notice something powerful. She doesn't just feel desire, she feels connection. And connection is what turns temporary chemistry into lasting intimacy. The real secret? Emotional touch creates physical longing. And once you understand that, everything changes. Emotional safety comes before physical intimacy in the mind of a mature woman. And this is something many men completely underestimate. They assume attraction is primarily visual or physical, that chemistry is built through flirtation, bold moves, and escalating touch. But for a mature woman, intimacy is not a starting point, it is a response. And what it responds to first is emotional security. A mature woman has experiences behind her. She has likely been disappointed, misunderstood, rushed, or taken for granted at some point in her life. That doesn't make her guarded in a dramatic way, but it does make her discerning. She is not simply asking, am I attracted to him? She is also asking, do I feel safe with him? Do I feel respected? Can I relax around him? If the answer to those questions is no, physical attraction will never fully bloom, even if she finds him handsome. Emotional safety is created in subtle ways. It shows up in how you respond when she shares something personal. Do you interrupt her story to make it about yourself, or do you lean in and let her finish? It appears in how you handle disagreement. Do you become defensive and dismissive, or do you stay calm and curious? These moments matter more than any charming line or confident gesture. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her nervous system relaxes. She doesn't feel the need to analyze every word she says or second guess how she's coming across. She feels free to be playful, expressive, and even vulnerable. And vulnerability is the doorway to intimacy. Without it, connection remains surface level. Men sometimes believe that creating tension or mystery will increase desire. While intrigue can spark curiosity, it cannot replace security. A mature woman is not looking for unpredictability that makes her anxious. She is drawn to stability that allows her to open gradually. When she trusts that you won't judge her, pressure her, or disappear the moment things become real, she begins to invest emotionally. That emotional investment is what transforms attraction into something deeper. Physical intimacy, for her, is an extension of emotional closeness. It is not separate from it. If she feels unheard, disrespected, or uncertain about your intentions, her body will reflect that hesitation. But if she feels understood and valued, her openness becomes natural. There is no forcing, no convincing, no performing, just a steady progression built on trust. Emotional safety also communicates strength. It shows that you are grounded enough not to rush, secure enough not to pressure, and confident enough not to seek validation through physical conquest. That kind of presence is deeply attractive because it signals maturity. When you prioritize emotional safety, you send a powerful message: I care about how you feel. And that message does more to build desire than any rehearsed move ever could. Because for a mature woman, intimacy is not about being impressed, it's about feeling safe enough to let her guard down. And when she feels safe, she doesn't just allow closeness, she chooses it. Respect and presence create attraction deeper than appearance or performance, and this is where many men miss the real opportunity to connect. Physical looks may open the door, and charm may hold attention briefly, but what sustains and deepens attraction for a mature woman is how she feels in your presence. Not how impressed she is, not how entertained she is, but how valued she feels. Respect is not about polite words alone. It is shown in how you treat her time, her opinions, her boundaries, and her individuality. A mature woman quickly senses when a man is trying to win her over through performance, rehearsed lines, exaggerated confidence, or attempts to appear more successful than he really is. That kind of effort feels transactional. It feels like he's trying to earn something. Respect, on the other hand, feels grounded. It says, I see you as an equal. I don't need to outshine you to stand beside you. Presence is equally powerful. In a world full of distractions, genuine attention has become rare. When you are fully present with her, not checking your phone, not scanning the room, not mentally preparing your next response, she feels it. Presence communicates importance. It tells her she is not competing for your focus. She has it. A mature woman is not looking for a man to impress her with grand gestures every 5 minutes. She is observing how he behaves in ordinary moments. Does he listen without interrupting? Does he remember small details she mentioned in passing? Does he respond thoughtfully instead of react impulsively? These quiet behaviors build a sense of emotional depth. Attraction deepens when she feels respected in conversation. If she expresses a viewpoint different from yours, do you try to correct her immediately, or do you show curiosity? When she shares an ambition, do you minimize it or encourage it? Respect means allowing her to be strong without feeling threatened. It means admiring her intelligence instead of competing with it. Presence also creates emotional chemistry because it builds connection in real time. When you are fully engaged, you pick up on her tone shifts, her subtle expressions, her moments of hesitation. That awareness allows you to respond in a way that feels aligned rather than disconnected. She feels understood, not because you guessed correctly, but because you were attentive enough to notice. Performance can create excitement, but presence creates trust. Performance says, look at me. Presence says, I see you. And that difference changes everything. A mature woman has likely experienced men who tried to impress her with status, money, humor, or bold confidence. What stands out is the man who remains steady, attentive, and respectful without trying to prove anything. That steadiness feels secure. It feels masculine in a quiet way. It feels rare. When respect and presence are consistent, attraction becomes layered. It is no longer just about how she feels when she looks at you. It becomes about how she feels when she is with you. And when being with you feels calm, valued, and seen, she doesn't just feel desire, she feels drawn. That kind of attraction doesn't fade when the performance ends. It grows stronger the more real you are. Mature women respond to intentional communication more than impulsive desire, because by the time a woman reaches emotional maturity, she has learned to distinguish between attention and intention. Attention is easy. It's quick compliments, late-night messages, sudden bursts of passion, and dramatic expressions that feel exciting in the moment. But intention is different. Intention is steady. It is thoughtful. It has direction. Impulsive desire is often driven by what someone feels right now. It says, I want you in this moment. Intentional communication says, I value where this is going. A mature woman is not just evaluating chemistry, she is evaluating consistency. She listens not only to what you say, but how and when you say it. Are your words aligned with your actions? Do you communicate clearly during the day or only when it suits you? Do you express interest in her life beyond surface level attraction? Intentional communication shows emotional discipline. It means you think before you speak. You consider how your words affect her. You don't disappear for days and then reappear with intensity as if nothing happened. You don't send mixed signals and expect her to decode them. You speak with clarity. You make plans with purpose. You follow through. A mature woman feels secure when communication feels grounded. She doesn't want to guess where she stands. She doesn't want to analyze tone, timing, or hidden meaning. When you communicate intentionally, you remove confusion. You replace anxiety with certainty. And certainty builds attraction because it builds trust. Impulsive desire often feels flattering at first. It can be passionate and exciting. But without direction, it fades quickly. It can also feel unstable. If your interest is driven only by emotion in the moment, she will sense that it could disappear just as fast. Intentional communication, however, creates emotional safety because it shows that your interest is not random, it is chosen. This doesn't mean you become overly serious or robotic. It means you balance emotion with awareness. If you compliment her, make it specific. If you express interest, back it with action. If you say you want to see her, suggest a clear plan. These small shifts transform words from temporary excitement into meaningful signals. Mature women are especially sensitive to inconsistency. They have experienced conversations that started intensely and ended abruptly. They have felt desire that wasn't supported by commitment. So when a man communicates with clarity, steadiness, and purpose, it stands out. It feels refreshing. It feels safe. Intentional communication also means being emotionally available. When she shares something vulnerable, you don't brush it aside with humor or change the subject. You acknowledge it. You respond with empathy. That depth of response tells her you are not just present physically, you are engaged emotionally. Attraction deepens when she feels that your words are not impulsive reactions, but thoughtful expressions. When she senses that you are not just chasing a feeling, but building something real, she relaxes into the connection. Because at the end of the day, impulsive desire says, I want you now. Intentional communication says, I choose you consistently. And for a mature woman, consistency is what turns interest into investment. Emotional validation builds longing more effectively than physical escalation. Because what a mature woman truly craves is not intensity, it is understanding. Physical escalation can create excitement in the moment, but excitement alone does not create emotional attachment. Validation does. When a woman feels emotionally understood, she begins to associate you with comfort, safety, and depth. That emotional imprint lasts far longer than a fleeting spark of chemistry. Emotional validation is not about agreeing with everything she says. It is about acknowledging what she feels and showing that her emotions make sense. When she shares frustration about her day, she doesn't always need a solution. She needs to feel heard. If you immediately try to fix the problem or dismiss it as small, she feels unseen. But if you say, that sounds exhausting, or I can see why that would bother you, you create connection. You show her that her inner world matters. Longing grows in spaces where someone feels deeply recognized. When you validate her emotions, you tell her your experience is real. Your feelings are valid. That builds trust, and trust builds desire in a way that physical touch alone never can. Because now, she isn't just reacting to attraction, she is bonding through emotional closeness. Physical escalation without emotional depth can actually create distance. If she senses that you're focused only on moving things forward physically, she may feel pressured or reduced to an object of desire. Even if she is attracted to you, that pressure can cause hesitation. But when you slow down and prioritize emotional connection, she feels chosen for who she is, not just how she looks. Validation also communicates emotional strength. It shows that you are comfortable with feelings, yours and hers. Many men become uncomfortable when conversations turn vulnerable. They change the topic, joke, or shut down. But when you stay steady and receptive, you demonstrate maturity. A mature woman is deeply drawn to a man who can handle emotional depth without becoming overwhelmed or distant. Longing is built through emotional memory. If she walks away from an interaction thinking, he really understands me, that thought lingers. She replays it. She feels warmth connected to your presence. That warmth creates anticipation for the next conversation. Physical attraction might spark interest, but emotional validation makes her miss you. When she feels validated, she becomes more open. She shares more. She trusts more. And that openness naturally leads to deeper intimacy. There is no need to rush because the connection is unfolding at a pace that feels secure. A mature woman does not want to be swept away by force. She wants to be drawn in by understanding. When you consistently validate her emotions, you create a foundation that supports real desire. It becomes effortless. She doesn't feel chased, she feels connected. And when connection feels genuine, longing doesn't need to be manufactured. It grows quietly, steadily, and powerfully, rooted not in how fast you moved, but in how deeply you understood her. A woman's heart must feel chosen before her body feels open, because emotional exclusivity creates the foundation for physical intimacy. For a mature woman, desire is not just about attraction, it is about meaning. She wants to feel that your interest in her is intentional, not accidental. She wants to sense that you are not simply responding to availability, but that you see something specific in her that draws you in. Feeling chosen is different from feeling pursued. Pursuit can be exciting, but it can also feel generic if she senses that you would chase anyone who responded positively. Being chosen means she feels distinguished. It means your attention toward her is thoughtful and consistent. It is not scattered. It is not divided. It is directed. A mature woman pays close attention to subtle cues. If your focus shifts easily to other women in the room, if your compliments feel copied and pasted, or if your effort fluctuates unpredictably, she will hesitate. Not because she lacks attraction, but because her heart does not feel secure. Openness requires trust, and trust grows when she feels prioritized. When a woman feels chosen, her emotional walls soften. She begins to relax into the connection instead of analyzing it. She feels safe investing her time and energy because she senses you are doing the same. This mutual investment builds anticipation naturally. Her body responds to the emotional clarity she feels. Choosing her also means respecting her boundaries. It means understanding that intimacy unfolds at a pace where she feels comfortable, not pressured. When she feels that you value the connection more than the outcome, she begins to open willingly. There is no resistance when she senses that you are patient and steady. Many men attempt to create attraction by amplifying competition or making a woman feel replaceable, believing it increases desire. While that tactic might create temporary urgency, it rarely creates depth. A mature woman does not want to compete for attention. She wants to feel secure in it. When she knows she is not just one option among many, her trust deepens. Being chosen is communicated through actions more than words. It shows up when you follow through on plans, when you remember important details about her life, when you check in because you genuinely care, not because you expect something in return. These behaviors create emotional grounding. Once her heart feels secure in your intention, her body follows naturally. Physical openness becomes an expression of emotional closeness rather than a test of interest. She does not feel guarded because she does not feel uncertain. For a mature woman, intimacy is not about proving attraction. It is about expressing connection. And connection flourishes when she feels valued, respected, and intentionally selected. When she feels chosen, she doesn't hold back out of fear. She leans in out of trust. And that trust is what transforms physical intimacy from a moment into something meaningful and lasting. At the end of the day, what truly separates a fleeting attraction from a lasting connection is not charm, boldness, or physical confidence. It is emotional awareness. Every mature woman wants to feel something deeper touched first. Her mind, her heart, her sense of safety. When you understand that, everything about the way you approach her changes. If you rush to impress, you might spark interest. If you rush to escalate, you might create excitement. But if you slow down enough to create emotional safety, show genuine respect, communicate with intention, validate her feelings, and make her feel truly chosen, you create something far more powerful than chemistry. You create trust. And trust is what allows desire to breathe. A mature woman does not open because she is pressured. She opens because she feels secure. She doesn't lean in because she is overwhelmed. She leans in because she feels understood. When her emotions feel safe, her guard lowers naturally. When she feels valued, her attraction deepens. When she feels chosen, intimacy becomes meaningful instead of momentary. So the real shift is this: stop trying to win her body and start earning her emotional comfort. Stop performing for her attention and start being present with intention. The more grounded you are emotionally, the more relaxed she becomes. And the more relaxed she becomes, the more powerful the connection grows. Because in the end, physical intimacy is not the beginning of attraction for a mature woman, it is the result of it. Touch her mind with presence. Touch her heart with understanding. Touch her world with respect. Do that first, and everything else will follow naturally.